Mabuhay Manila, I Shadel here from ManilaShaker.com, the company that brought a head-turner concept phones like their Nex 3 and Apex 2020 unveiled their newest phone, but this time in the mid-range segment. This is the Vivo V19 Neo. The company claims that their two latest smartphones in mid-2020, the Vivo V19 and Vivo V19 Neo, are camera-centric phones with a super night photography features on their 48 megapixel main and 32 megapixel front cam. Their success in the high-end market is undeniable, but is there a revolutionary success in their mid-range market? Let's find out in this full review of the Vivo V19 Neo. Let's start with the price. I know a lot of you will say that it was overpriced at 17,990 pesos, but what satisfaction and contentment we can actually get. Let's go with the design first. Smartphones with punch hole displays are very popular nowadays, and the Vivo V19 Neo is one of those. Featuring a hole punch cutout, or what the company introduced as Ultra O screen, it houses a 32 megapixel front camera in this pretty small cutout. And in our opinion, it was named Neo because it's an anagram for the one or one. Probably because it only has one selfie camera compared to its bigger brother, the Vivo V19, with two front lenses made up of main and ultra-wide selfie cam. Flipping to the back, we will find the smooth texture with gradient aesthetic feel. Yes, it is not made of glass, it has a plastic back with a smooth finish. In short, it is a glass stick. The good thing though about plastic back, it cuts the weight of the phone. The Vivo V19 Neo only has 129 grams, it has a 3D curved back, and this type of build and design is very comfortable to hold and use. Speaking of comfortability, it has a small camera module with a quad camera setup plus an LED flash. The module is not as big as other smartphones, so even if you put it on the table, it doesn't wobble a lot. Towards the frame, we can see the power button and volume rocker on the left, while on the right is the SIM tray slot with 2 nano SIMs and expandable storage that expands up to 256GB. Underneath is a single down-firing speaker, microphone, USB Type-C port, and headphone jack. Lastly, on top is a second noise cancelling mic. Heading over to the display, it boasts a 6.44-inch Full HD Plus Super AMOLED display. The screen wasn't too big, but it was big enough to reach with my small hands, and it gives me convenience. Super AMOLED displays are known to have punchier colors. It offers a brighter screen than standard AMOLED panels, and the display of Vivo V19 has a decent level of saturation with nice solid contrast. It also features an under-the-display fingerprint scanner, which is fast and reliable. The only kinda distracting is the location of their punch hole cutout that should be on the left side. Even though it was smaller compared to other punch hole displays, it was still noticeable when watching video clips, and if you flip the orientation, your hand can cover the speaker grills. But overall feels it's not bad after all. We also get an specified version of Gorilla Glass protection on the front, but we believe that if the Vivo V19 had a Gorilla Glass 6, then maybe we have either Gorilla Glass 5 or the same. Moving on to the camera, this will be a special segment for this entire review, as this is one of the main things you should consider when buying this phone. It has cool features worth mentioning, but first, let's take a look at the quality. On the rear, we get a 48 megapixel f1.8 main camera, 8 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel macro, and 2 megapixel depth sensor. It's legit, the nighttime shots offers a really brighter image, and comparing this to the Realme 6 Pro, I'll let you guys decide which have better details. So what's so special about the Super Night mode they offer? Even if I shake the phone intentionally and hit the shutter button, it doesn't appear blurry. It still has a bit, but the image still gets a decent sharpness. In their night mode, shooting on handheld is very easy to do. I do get blurry images sometimes, but this is one of a sign of what we can expect on its price point. Next, we have daylight shots, which give a sharp, true-to-life color reproduction in some cases. It also has AI scene identification, which enhances the color management in different scenes. It doesn't produce oversaturated images and it doesn't generate deep blacks on the photos, although it creates some noise on dark parts due to HDR enhancement, but overall details are still preserved. Switching to the ultra-wide lens, it does get a little less sharp compared to the main lens. It creates a digital noise on the dark parts. However, ultra-wide landscape shots were not made to be viewed in some parts, but rather it has to be viewed as a whole. It does introduce a natural chromatic aberration though sometimes, but it is not so visible. Unfortunately, we can get their night mode features on the ultra-wide. So moving on to the next lens, the macro lens. It only has fixed focus but it still managed to get close on our subject, and macro images still got macro details. Last is the depth sensor, which helps to create the subject to background separation, and it has a good blurry background with at least the same color reproduction as it uses the main lens to capture the image. Now switching to the front-facing camera, there's also a super night selfie mode which will take at least 3 seconds to capture your selfie. It's a bit awkward though when shooting at night as it will take time to capture more light. But the images are impressive. I got a nicer, brighter selfie while my background still has decent exposure. When you're not comfortable using the night mode, you can just use the normal and portrait modes and just turn on the flash icon on top. Then the device brightness will auto-adjust to compensate to the ambient light that detects if your face has decent exposure. Hence, this will give you a bright and balanced selfie, although your background gets a little underexposed. Now switching to the video mode, we get a max 4K video resolution at 30 frames, 1080p at 60, 1080p at 30 frames. They said it has an EIS on the Vivo V19 Neo, and yes, it has a stable video mode, but unfortunately, it was only available when you switch to 1080p at 30 frames. On the front selfie video, we can record at max 1080p at 30 frames, and we get a nice and somehow bright video. Now moving on to the camera features of the Vivo V19 Neo, we get the usual function such as switching through the main lens, ultra-wide, and other lenses. On portrait tab, we will be getting this beauty features that offers 3 tabs, which is face beauty, slim, and posture. Face beauty improves the subject's face and it also offers a wide variety of enhancement. And if you're not satisfied with your appearance, the slim tab offers a whole new experience. You can make adjustments to the body of your subject. The best thing here is you can adjust your hips. Next, we have posture. That includes tons of posture to help you become a model or to make you feel like you're a professional photographer. Next, we have a night mode to capture a 3-second exposure to get brighter images at night. Then the video also offers a beauty enhancement. Here are other features including Pro mode, which can adjust up to 32-second shutter speed and max 3200 ISO. Vivo V19 Neo also offers to shoot at RAW to make better adjustments in post-processing. The 48 megapixel mode can also be found here. This will enable you to shoot at high-res images or full 48 megapixel, slow motion with 120 FPS at 720p, and much more. Now switching to the front, selfie enthusiasts will surely love this phone. It has the same features like the rear. You just need to copy the pose in the dash lines like what we are seeing right now, and that's a pretty cool feature. Clicking the icon here, we will see a portrait light effect that offers a wide variety of portrait lighting and is much more effective on the front-facing camera. Anyway, speaking of features, the Vivo V19 Neo is running on Android 10.0 with FunTouch OS 10.0, and it is really fun to use. The skin inside is lightweight. The notification panel will appear when you swipe from the bottom part. Vivo V19 Neo has an intelligent software package called Jovi AI. It has a self-learning AI based on your habits of day-to-day use. It also keeps track of what you're doing just by entering basic information to Jovi. It also has a button in the top left corner of the notification list to navigate to Jovi's smart screen from where you can find information such as screen time, average use, and some kind of database monitoring. As we said earlier, it is a learning AI. Vivo V19 Neo isn't just offering a simplicity on their phone, it also has cool stuff that you can personalize such as easy touch feature. It snaps to the side if it isn't being used, and it makes navigation easier at the same time, not distracting the view. It also has a wide variety of customization in your animation such as screen on and off, fingerprint recognition, charging animation, and USB insertion. We also have the theme for easy touch features and of course, the UI theme itself. There are also some cool features that are worth mentioning, like the screenshot features, and one of which is the funny screenshot with cool shapes and free designs to add more gimmick to your snap. Vivo V19 Neo also offers touch-free features such as shake to turn on the flashlight. This feature is useful in uncertain scenarios in where you cannot navigate the UI. Every time your phone is on the lock screen page, simply shake your device and you just ignite the night. So that's just the tip of the iceberg that feels worth mentioning. Let us move on to its performance. The Vivo V19 Neo is powered by a late 2018 CPU, Snapdragon 675 with Adreno 612 on the GPU. It has 8GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage. It doesn't offer the newest chipset, however the good thing is you don't have to wait for optimization as the chip was already optimized for day-to-day use and some gaming. Speaking of gaming, we tried to play with this device and surprisingly it has impressive performance running the games in high settings with 1080p resolution. Even though the chipset is almost 2 years old, it still kicks in, and the reason behind this is the optimization of the chipset to the games. Newer processors take time to optimize and the result was impressive. On our test on Honkai Impact 3, we get a stable 30 to 60 FPS on recommended settings with 99% stability. And as we bump the settings to its max quality, it runs smoothly at 60 FPS with 99% stability. And it's quite surprising that its competitors with the latest chipset inside stumbles a bit in this game. We also tried other games like PUBG Mobile, Asphalt 9, MLBB, and Call of Duty. However, Asphalt 9 only has average performance but most games run well on this device. This is one of the reasons why you don't have to think that it is overpriced, because it really gives a price to performance ratio. The only thing to consider is the future proofing of whether the processor can still punch in the coming year, but I think it will. As for the battery, Vivo V19 Neo offers a 4500 mAh battery with a dual engine fast charging of 18 watts, and putting first the charging info on the screen, the device has an impressive charging time from 0 to 60% in just 1 hour. I wish it had at least 30 watts fast charge as it is a factor and Vivo will have difficulty competing in the mid-range market in terms of numbers. For battery drain tests, we tested gaming, video loop tests, and some social media browsing, and the battery depleted for about an impressive 7 hours and 46 minutes, and it will last for a day or so in average use. So overall, what is this phone? What feels it can give you to make your money's worth? Well, for us, it has a straightforward and simple functionality. We didn't experience any stutters on social media and other apps while navigating through the UI. The camera is impressive, especially in low light. The performance is great, I'm not hyping this up. Vivo V19 Neo is definitely a worthy opponent in our comparison episode. And although it lacks some features on its native camera app, it still gives feel and comfortability. A simple, plain, yet premium feel smartphone that's definitely worth the price. And that's it for this video. We hope you guys learned something from us. Please subscribe and ring the bell to be notified on our recent uploads. We got more comparison and reviews upcoming, so stay tuned. And also, if you want some tech news and other tech guides, you may check our website at manilashaker.com. And as always, mabuhay Manila!